Yeah.
Let's just get it.
Let's just get into it. Wait, real quick, can we just do an audio check just for our people? Hi, my name is Rob Moore, and I am one of the hosts of We Are Still Single Forever.
Check. Hey, Jordan Kahana coming from Denver, Colorado. Here doing. Is it a little hot? I feel like I peaked just then doing that.
It's a little hot and a little just like you're like Adam Levine from Maroon 5.
Don't. You can't.
Dude, too topical.
That is the wrong person to say.
Why did he just get Me Too'd?
Wait, you have zero idea what happened with him, and that's the person that you go with?
No, I don't know.
This is good.
Wait,
You're
what
joking,
happened?
Right? This is a joke.
Adam Levine trying his best with very upset Bahati Prinsloo.
What?
Adam Levine denies having an affair, but admits he crossed the line. Okay, got it.
I mean, he for sure had it. I have no idea. I don't know enough, but
Adam Levine's former yoga teacher accuses him of sending flirty text message. Okay. Yeah. So he's flirting with his yoga instructor while he's married. Not okay. Just not okay.
Actually, his wife is pregnant. That's the big issue also that goes with it.
Do you see those there's IG messages where he messaged this girl? I don't know if that's
really,
real or not.
He really screwed up by being like, I want to name my future daughter after you, or like I like
after
that
the yoga instructor.
No, not the yoga instructor. This like thoughty TikToker that he was messaging.
Oh my god!
But you just ran Adam Levine out of your hat out of all the weeks to refer.
Yeah, you just sound like Adam Levine today. I don't know. It's just what it feels like.
Man, if I could sing like that, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, guys, welcome back to
Alex's mic.
Welcome back to Still Single.
Dude, I don't get a Mikey check.
No, you just sound like you're in a cafeteria somewhere. It sounds like a little. What's up? I don't understand why every week we can't just figure this out. Like why you can't just figure out your microphones.
You sound squeaky.
I sound squeaky?
Yeah.
Do I actually?
No. I might just be wanting to throw shade.
I lowered my preferences. I'm just hoping. I'm just trying to come at it real soft and smooth.
You guys have bought multiple microphones.
I know. I think we have to return these microphones and just upgrade to like the 250.
I'm on my third microphone, bro. Sometimes you got to look yourself and realize like
it's human error for sure.
All right. Rather than just shading on us, can you coach us up here? Like,
talk closer to the microphone. That is
this better? Is it better in the cafeteria?
It is, yeah.
We're just going to do a full episode.
Jordan, like you sound the best when it's close to your face.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And then Alex, why don't you talk?
Is this better?
No, so just talk normal.
I get it. So you
want like you're talking into a microphone.
We are alone.
Why are we alone? He's yelling.
Is that better or worse?
Rob just punched himself in the face.
Ow.
Dude, we're fucking hot messes. Don't even.
Still single.
We are.
Single.
Becky's out early.
Becky. I don't even think that's Becky. I think
Becky.
That's just
okay.
Becky.
Let's do a weekly check-in. How are we doing? Status updates. Rob, hit us off with what's going on.
So no date September.
Yeah. We're September 21st.
Crashed and burned. Not only did I go on a date, I technically went on 2 dates, and then I downloaded 4 dating apps thinking that it's gonna help me. And it's just like, it's literally the definition of insanity, like doing the same thing, expecting different results. And I don't know why I'm doing it. It's a mixture of loneliness mixed with obsession, mixed with, I just want to have a partner, but also like a deep understanding that like now is not the time. Like now is just like focus on Bobby and career stuff and your daughter and creativity, and like why distract yourself with dates and dating apps, yada, 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 yada. So that's where I'm at.
Can we unpack that moment though of like, or do we not want to? I guess just
we can unpack anything. I'm totally unpackable.
You're so self-aware. You're Captain Self-Aware.
I'm Captain Self-Aware.
So what was the moment of when did you break No Date September? Like what was the moment?
I was in Joshua Tree with Jordan, and a very attractive woman slid into my DMs, and I was like, okay, like let's just get a lunch.
I love it. It's like-
Yeah, my favorite part of the whole thing was that he like sent that message and then texted us being like, so like is lunch a date? Like is asking someone to coffee a date? It's like,
yeah.
Look, it was really nice, and then I freaked out after our date, and I just almost diverted back to like 7th or 8th grade old Robbie, where I'm just like, I'm like scared. I don't know. I'm just like a nervous wreck. I get a lot of anxiety around dating. I have a lot of, feelings about Noelle and the life we had. I also have feelings about my ex and the life we shared. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's really hard for me to be present with another partner.
If you're comfortable, can you kind of give the audience a little more understanding, because there is the like 3-year anniversary coming up? Can you give a little more information on that, maybe to let people understand, because you're saying that you're scared, and like, maybe the fearfulness that Alex and I experience when it comes to dating obviously isn't on the same level because you have a daughter and you have these experiences.
Yeah.
So hello audience. Hello, beautiful listeners. So my late wife, Noelle, she passed away from ovarian cancer almost 3 years ago. September 30th is the 3-year anniversary of her passing. She had a 2-year battle with ovarian cancer and was diagnosed 4 months after our daughter Leia was born. So it was complete shitstorm, total tragedy. And, my dating after she passed, I got kind of back into the apps and back into the game pretty quickly after she passed. And I don't know if I gave myself enough time to heal. And now I'm like realizing that. And so when I say like I'm scared or I'm anxious, it's because like literally like I have muscle memory of like time with my late wife. And then I'm trying to like make connections with a new woman or new person. And it's just like, it's really challenging. And as soon as I feel something's off, it heightens exponentially and I kind of like bail. So not only is that my truth, but it's also like September, which is just historically a very tumultuous time of year for me, just because that's like when my wife was diagnosed, then that's when she was re-diagnosed. It's just like this, and then that's when she passed. It's just like a time of year that is really challenging for me.
What if, thank you, Rob, for sharing all that. What if you returned? Let's be yogi about this. Let's like be meditative, like just return to the breath. Just return to the no date September. You veered off, you had a thought, you went for the thought, and now he's back. He's back. He deletes the 4 apps. He deletes coffee meets bagel meets Rob. He deletes Hingy Rob.
So what you're saying is just go against my addictive sensibility and delete all the dating apps again.
You got 9 days, my guy. You got 9 days left. How many days did you do no date September for?
13 days.
Great. You get 9 days in on this back half. Then you're looking at 22 out of 30. I'm not a mathematician, but that's got to be a passing grade.
I love this outlook. and if anything, I love how this flips on its head too, because Alex thought that the front end and the back end would be the hardest, and you just like settle in the middle. It's actually completely flipped.
I've had a couple listeners slide into my DMs, just be like, "Hey, how's no date September going?" And I'm like, "I failed. I failed 13 days in."
But that's okay. Like it's no big deal. And I agree with Alex. Like maybe it is just, as opposed to just like totally unraveling, that if you revert back to it over these next 9 days and then ease back into it in October, however you feel more comfortable, and also being more dedicated to your daughter and putting yourself out there more with the content that you're creating. I'm sure is there any updates with Ghosted? Like what can we do that you always feel so powerful after taking this time for yourself and you're able to create what you want to?
it's so interesting because, you know, my film Ghosted has been received extremely well, and there's been a lot of energy being like, okay, so like you're gonna write this into a feature, right? And in terms of like, you know, LA Hollywood side of things, like if I were to just, you know, hunker down and write a feature based on the short, I would get a lot of meetings. Like there's just no question. It would just be like a no-brainer for somebody to be like, hey, this guy wrote a short, he lost his wife, and he wrote this like really funny rom-com that's very touching, blah, blah, blah. And then like, boom, like meeting. And I've been having some resistance to it. And I feel like the dating apps and the swipey swipes are just a straight up distraction. Like it's just a straight up distraction from doing the work.
Dude, you're Captain Self-Aware. Let's run with it. One, that's so natural to have resistance. I have resistance around the big things that I want to do too, because they're just like, they're big. And especially sometimes like when you can see the steps. I mean, dude, what if, I guess what I'm getting at here is like, let Jordan, let Webbs, let the still single community be your accountability buddies of in 9 days, ready? No dating and no apps. And in that void, you write the feature and you finish the fucking feature on the anniversary of Noel.
First draft, snap.
I fucking
You can do
love
it.
this,
Dude, you can do it in 9 days. I know you.
Yes.
You can do it.
BC
Hundo
can
P.
do it.
Love
BC
that.
can do it.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go.
Well,
All right. He's deleting the apps. He's deleting the apps right now. Here we go.
On camera. I love that.
On camera.
Okay.
All right.
Now I want to make sure.
To
Wait,
your
I'm gonna do
lifestyle
the whole
holder.
like pause my profile thing. You guys go. I'm just
Great.
gonna pause my
Yes.
profile.
So I love this because Alex, we are a day after your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Gem. I
Happy
want
belated
everyone
birthday.
who's listening right now to pause. Go send I'm Alex Weber a happy birthday. We know it's belated at this point. It's probably a week
Okay.
belated, but just the energy to get that
I receive.
will be incredible. I would like for us to all find goals to hit on September 30th. But
Wow.
That's good, man. That's really good.
Wow,
so
I
that
love
we
this.
all for the next 9 days through the group chat can be
Okay, I got
texting
one.
and doing that.
Okay,
Ooh,
Hinge
yeah,
has been deleted.
Yes,
Deleting
let's go.
Raya.
Yeah. Did you pause your account on it too?
I paused on Hinge.
Pausies. Nice. This is big.
Because we're coming back.
Yeah,
We're
we're
coming
coming
back.
I fell off really hard.
This is just
I
a
fell off
pause.
really
This
hard.
isn't a
The app's like,
permanence.
yeah, sure, Rob. Okay.
Sure, Rob.
See you
cool.
tomorrow.
All right, going off date mode on B.
Okay,
Alex,
I've
what do
got
you
one
have
for us.
I've
What's
got
your
one.
status update?
Well,
as
because
well?
we're going real. We're going real here. So it is, and I've talked to men we admire, and I've talked about this. I need to just do it. It is my dream to literally say, "Hey, I'm Alex." Which one, Rob?
That was Bumble.
That was
Bumble
Bumby.
is
So we
no
got
longer-
Raya down, we got Bumby down,
and we got Hinge down.
and we got Hinge
And
down.
then
That's
there's
the big
this
three.
one more. It's Locks Club. I'm kind of talking to this really cute girl, but
Well, I think you can still, this is a tangent and then I'll do my thing, but like, I think you can still say like, hey, I'm taking some time away from the apps. What's your phone number, Instagram? Let's talk. And
You can just ask for the number. I think the like, hey, I'm deleting everything right now.
no,
This
no,
like,
I'm just saying, hey, let's grab a coffee and sniff each other out. Here's my cell.
sniff each other out.
Yeah,
I
say
love
sniff
this.
each other out.
He's
Like
so
dogs
direct.
do?
He's so direct. And then he's like,
are you're joking?
No,
You
I
guys
just
give
sent
me
that.
shit about asking about fruit, and you, when asking for a number, you say let's sniff each other out.
Yeah, I say let's sniff
So,
each other out.
To be fair, I go,
oh my gosh.
All right, deleting
What is the
locks.
usual
Oh my
re-
god, it's clean.
what is the usual response to that?
yes?
Woof.
Meow. I when I get to a place in dating app
Oh,
messaging
gosh.
where I'm like, hey, let's meet, it happens.
For sure, I agree. Okay,
Dude,
Alex,
I will
you were
never
in a moment.
forget that time when I was talking to this cute girl and I was like kind of smitten over her. And then Rob just came and was just like, hey, I'm Rob. Wow, you're really beautiful. Your voice sounds great. I was like, are you okay? Kidding me right now? He's
Was
just,
that in Austin?
yeah, he's just so direct.
That was my
and,
entire Joshua Tree experience.
and he's so tall.
I third wheeled my own experience. Rob showed up.
Oh, that was a great weekend.
You got to
really
be
fun.
mindful where you invite the beast.
I know.
Don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Alex, you were
All
about
right.
to
Well,
hit your stride.
we're talking about real goals here. So it is my dream to, like, I grew up fanatical, obsessed with stand-up comedians, and I'm still obsessed with stand-up comedians. Like, I listen to them like music. Like, I can recite literally albums from like Tom Segura, Louis C.K., John Mulaney, like, and I love what I do because it feels like it combines my worlds of like motivation and betterment and positivity with comedy. With that said, it is a dream of mine to go on tour as Alex, not, you know what I'm saying? And I need to just step into that dream. And why I bring it up is I've brought it up to some other people in my space of like, maybe we put on an event together, and they've been so down with it. And I think that'd be amazing, but I'm trying to listen in that this one person that was like gung ho about it has like kind of been dragging feet. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should listen to that and realize that like really the leap of faith that I need to do is it's enoughness. It's me facing this fear that I'm going to say I'm doing an event and no one responds in the comments. I do an event and no one buys a ticket. Like, I need to do it and survive that worst fear reality, because if I guess like every other version of this that I'm doing is like me softening it. So my goal that I need to do by September 30th is just to post that Alex, am doing an event, the date in Austin, rent a theater, and just do it. And just do it.
Dude, okay, so this reminds me, first of all, snaps to you. I love this goal. Totally doable. I did a one-man show in Chicago where it was like an improv show where I played Jake Arrieta from the Chicago Cubs. He was like a pitcher.
Yeah.
And I was doing it at this one theater, the Underground Theater, and then I got into like IO, which is like a bigger theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had one show at IO that was great, and then one show literally no one showed up. And the stage manager came and he's like, "There's only like 3 people that are in the audience. Do you even want to do the show?" And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then the stage manager was like, "We're not going to do the show." Like, he's like, we don't need to do it. And the reality is like, yeah, I was bummed, but dude, it's like, who cares? You're going to feel worse if you don't do this than if you do it and like the feedback isn't good.
Yeah. I mean, it's at this point where like, I did it in 2019 fall, and like as like a proof of concept, and it was fucking awesome. Like it was, right. You know, it was my version of like a Tony Robbins thing. And there was only 20 people because I didn't advertise it, you know. My point being like and this is helping talking it out, the only failure is that I don't do it.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So that's a great goal. How are you status wise?
Oh, okay. Birthdays are tough. Yeah. It's just such I've never, and Rob gave me good advice yesterday. He was like, go get a cupcake. And my housemates got me one, and it was nice because I felt like there was like an 11-year-old or 12-year-old in me. Dude, I never had a birthday party as a kid. I've reflected on this. Like, my mom was so sweet. And like, I'd wake up and she had like birthday balloons. And like, we'd have like a family dinner. Dude, I never had a birthday party as a kid. And I'm realizing that there's like things that have like developed. Like I was at ninja training last night and there was a little kid who he turned 9 on Thursday, and his mom had like a birthday candle, and like we sang him happy birthday. And I noticed this little part of me was like, this little shit gets a birthday. Not really, but like a little part of me was like jealous.
I'm gonna eat his cake.
I'm gonna eat that dude's cake.
Were you looking around and being like, no one knows that today is actually
no. People did, and they were so sweet, and like they're such a supportive community and all that. I think I just realized like there's deeper seated stuff that's attached to this thing of never having a birthday party as like a kid. So I'll say there was that moment. And then it's just such a mile marker of like the second question that everyone wants to ask is, how old are you turning? Right? Oh, it's your birthday. How old are you turning? And I've made videos on this before. But it's such an interesting thing because it's literally one of the only things that's outside of our control is your age, your numerical age, not your health or wellness or, inner age, but like your numerical age. And with this thing that's outside of your control, which essentially is saying like, you're getting closer to death. How closer to death are you? We're also saying like, cool, based off this number, I'm going to judge you. And I might be projecting this, but I think it's kind of, I'm going to judge your accomplishments, your personal life, how you look. Do you look young or old? Are you married? Do you have kids? I'm going to judge you based off this thing outside your control so hard. So I haven't really figured out a good way around that. I mean, I know at some point I'm just going to totally own my age, but for a lot of things I do, I just don't mention it because it bothers me that people would either think I'm young or old for what do you know what I'm saying? It's out of my control. It is.
Well, it's a way for humans to like compartmentalize who you are. It's like a way for their brain to go, oh, okay, you're 36, you're 35. You should be here in terms of my, ideas. So I texted you guys this morning. I went to a Dave Matthews concert last night at the Hollywood Bowl and I was there and like, I'm 34, almost 35. And I was just like, the crowd is older. Like it was definitely like everybody's in their late 30s to like early 50s. Everybody was getting down, smoking weed, drinking wine, having a good time. And I was just like, I was trying to like maybe like make eyes with someone, pretty. And I was like, everybody was in the like MILF status, life cycle. That's like where they were. And it was great. I was just like, am I old now? Like, cause this group is old.
You're a DILF.
I'm definitely a DILF. I appreciate
straight.
that.
Hell yeah.
That.
DILF energy.
Status. I actually have a hat that says DILF. I got to wear it more often.
Let the people know.
Honestly, I went to a Starbucks wearing that hat, and the Starbucks, you know how Starbucks baristas are. They're never really that interested in your day. But this guy looked at me and he goes, dude, your hat is awesome. And I was like, thanks, man.
I love that.
All right,
Did you get a
Jay.
free drink out of it?
So no, I didn't.
Damn.
Jay, where are you at, my friend?
I'm actually really good. I had a lot of
steps to really good. Wow.
Yeah, I had a lot of like validation of positivity come through this weekend. And so a few things. One, I'll start off because this is a relationship podcast. I'm back on the apps.
Oh,
after a 4.5 month hiatus, I re-downloaded Bumble and Hinge. And it was interesting because Friday I went to the Odessa concert here in Denver. It was spiritual. It was truly an amazing experience, and that music's just been on loop for me. But 2 times, so once at the concert, this girl who was in front of us, we were like in the lawn, turns around and is like, "I know you." And I'm like, I look past and I'm like, how do you know me? And I haven't downloaded the apps yet. But I was thinking about it. I was texting the guys being like, I'm itching, I'm craving. I want to connect with people who live in my city and just go on a normal date. And so she doesn't really respond to that. So I walk up and I'm like, hi, I'm Jordan. Like, how do you know me? This is a weird social interaction. And she's like, well, I've seen your TikToks, but also we matched on Bumble and you didn't like comment back. I was like, I haven't been on the apps in a really long time. So like, maybe it's not me, or that's just a bizarre thing to be upset about. Like it's kind of a numbers game. We're all a little frugal. And then later we're out at a bar after the concert and this girl, we're waiting in line for the bathroom. It's all 9 non-binary bathrooms. And she turns to her friend. She goes, you know who he looks like? And I was like, who do I look like? Assuming it's going to be some actor that she's Adam Levine.
Yeah, Adam Levine.
That would have been a good time to get it because this news
bastard.
hadn't broke. And she goes, he looks like the guy from Instagram who found the 2 dogs in the desert. And I was just like, you're joking right now. That's me. That is actually me. And she's like, I used to follow you, but like you didn't match with me on Bumble. So like I unfollowed you. And I was like, how are you the second person in like a matter of 6 hours to get mad at me over a bump? And I'm not even on the dating apps.
Wow.
But as opposed to taking that as a negative sign, I was like, let me download them. Let me connect with people in my community and do that. And so one of the things that I want to talk about is etiquette on first dates, because I ended up going on a date on Monday. We're doing this on Wednesday. The podcast is on Wednesday. Had a really great time with her. We've been texting since. I really hope to see her again. However, for me, at the end of a good first date, I think a little smooch is the right way to just like kind of end it.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't kiss. So I don't know if I'm like now even that much more intrigued to hang out with her, because I'm like, I want to get that kid. Like, we had such a good time. I want to see her again. And like, but I'm just curious to hear what you guys think about etiquette around ending on a good first date with a smooch or no.
Well,
or a
also,
kiss. We can say this is me like saying romantic time versus like just calling it what it is.
Slight note on that, not to like overdo the personal element of it, but she was Argentinian, no? So there could be cultural.
I was
there could be
thinking about
cultural.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even in like European culture or non-American culture, like if you buy a girl a drink at a bar, then it's like assumed that she's going to go home with you. Have you ever heard that?
No, that's interesting.
If like a woman accepts a drink purchased by you.
And I will say, because I actually didn't tell you guys this, I found it very interesting through these conversations that we're having. You know how Rob and I are on the opposite spectrums of the conversations that we have, where I'm very breezy and asking about fruits, and Rob's like, this is all of me, take it or leave it.
Your mom died. Let's unpack that.
Exactly. Let's get together on this grief. I was trying to be a bit more intentional and ask, like, learn a little bit more deeper stuff. And so like the conversation about whether or not you want to have kids or stuff like that came up in this conversation. And I had to stop myself, because every time I went with like a deep intentional question, I was always like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to ask this early. And I was like, it's okay. I'm not asking super deep trauma stuff. It's like, hey, we're seeing if we're a fit compatibly long term. Like, that's what dating is.
Yeah.
I think that's totally important. And I first want to just give you some snaps for downloading the apps. I know it was a very conscious choice for you. You asked me a few times and asked the group a few times, what do you guys think? Should I do it? And I think it makes sense, because you are looking for somebody in your area. You don't want to like keep flying people out or having these like weekend trips, which, as fun as they are, it's not a traditional way. It's a lot. It really is
0 to 100.
Yeah.
Travel costs are high.
Yeah. Gas prices, inflation, the war in Ukraine. It is tough to date right now. Okay. So to your question about smooches on the first date. I'm a big pro smooch on the first date kind of guy. And something that I've actually been trying, because I read this article. I will actually ask the girl, I'm like, hey, can I kiss you? And this is a new thing that I've been doing, and it is working so well, because it allows them to make the decision instead of there needing to be this like, okay moment of like, is this happening? So basically it's like, it's in that moment where you're going, oh my God, like this could be me just leaning into kiss. But instead of me just leaning into kiss, I'm like, hey, can I kiss you? And then they're like, yeah.
What is your success rate with
100%?
Love that.
Well, have you seen Rob? This seems very the gaming. I feel like that was like a direct quote from I know you're not doing it from that though.
I have seen that article though about
I read a great article. I've also read an article about cunnilingus, and I follow it every time, and it works great.
We're tangenting. Forget everything else. Alex, tell me more.
Rob's DMs are gonna blow up after
Jordan, let's talk offline about the ABCs, but I'm going to tell you the ABCs of cunnilingus, and it's going to change your life.
I feel pretty confident in my skills on that. And
so did I.
My Yelp reviews are pretty high up there. Anyways, Alex, what is your etiquette? What is your thoughts around first date etiquette and a kiss?
Okay. My honest answer is, I think you need to know if there's a connection or not. And we live in a time of endless, if you met on the apps, you can kind of assume that maybe other people are talking on the apps, or they might leave your date and go back on the app, or maybe they're dating other people. And we have work and we have bills. And just like Rob said, inflation, gas prices, the war in Ukraine, there's a lot going on. My point being, if you have both decided to go and spend an hour or 2 hours of your time together, getting to know each other, locking eyes, listening, I think at that point, is there a connection or not? And I don't think it necessarily needs to be a kiss, because I think you can wait on that if you want, or, you can go all the way on the first date.
Eskimo kiss, just like rub noses.
I think just some moment of like I've gone on a date in the last, I don't know how long, but it was like we had like a great hug and kind of like a look in the eyes, and that was it. There was no kiss, but it was like, oh, like we connected. There was a moment of connection of like, we've bonded here. We want to see each other again. I think that is important. It could be like a big laugh that you all have. It could be a kiss. I guess what I'm getting at is you are going on a date. I keep using this example of like, you're not playing racquetball. You're not racquetball buddies. You're like, right. You're exploring the most intimate force in the universe, love. Like, are you connected or not? And so I think whether it's a kiss, an intimate look, a hug, some form of intimate connection, I do think you need that for like a wonderful first date. Yeah.
And I guess the kiss is just kind of like this classic, intimate connection that is very much a defining moment of, a first kiss for me can set up the sexual chemistry for a relationship. So I think it's extremely important.
Am I putting it on a potential pedestal the way that like late 90s, early 2000 teen movies were like, you have to have sex at the end of prom, and then there's all this pressure around that? Where
let's break down the moment. So the date ended?
No, I mean, yeah, it was all good, and I just like, I can sense that. I've like gone on enough dates where I know where like the chemistry is there to do that, and it's okay that it wasn't. And like the bar that we went to had a photo booth, so I was like, ooh, maybe we'll have like that.
I saw those photos. You guys look
They
cute.
were great photos.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hot new first date spot. If you're in Denver, I'm happy to let you know where it is. Great little dive bar.
What is it called? Shout it out.
No, I can't do that. I'm going to gatekeep. If you want to know, come through and let the people see it.
There's the PR.
Yeah, I like that it's a little blurry too. So
yeah, that's probably best.
Best. So yeah, like, listen, I'm not. I know the timing where like Rob asks the girl about, hey, can I kiss you? And that kind of etiquette with that. I do like, that element with it. And I've also read articles where or I've heard from girls where it's like, if you don't know that you should kiss me, like asking ruins the moment. And so there's definitely two sides to that.
I agree.
But I do agree on like getting consent. I think that's important. We all agree on that.
I don't look at it as a consent. I guess it is a consent thing, but I don't look at it as that. I kind of lay it as just like building a foundational trust and like, yeah, I guess letting the woman decide that it's okay. And I feel like you can actually maybe have a better first kiss with that opening. But then again, I don't know. It's just something new I've been trying.
Jordan, on this, so was it a hug? Did you hug? Did you high five?
Did you shake hands?
We hugged. We had a great time. We've been like I said, we've been talking since. There was a lot of discussion on the date about things that we can do the next time and the time after that.
Well, okay, well that's good.
So I don't feel totally like, I don't know if she likes me or not, or like I can read that. I guess for me, I just really like the idea of like, listen, we're here connecting the way that you said of whether or not we're compatible in a romantic setting. We had a great first experience together, and like, I'm not saying like, let's just make out for like 10 hours like they do in The Notebook.
Sick.
Like, I'm just being like, all they do is make out for the first like month that they know each other.
Right. Faces. God,
right.
That's so much.
Fighting.
I just want to eat someone's face.
The little Hannibal Lecter of you.
No, like it's when you're just like, oh, I love this person. Like you just want to eat their face.
Well, that's another article that I read about cuteness aggression. That the serotonin in your brain goes so much that it shifts. Or like when you see something so cute where you're like I just
little baby.
Yeah, or like a cute little baby animal or something where you're like, I just want to squeeze you until you pop. But like,
big question.
You don't want to hurt it. Yeah, what's up?
does this is real in our lives, and in Jordan, myself, and Rob's life. Does this lovely lady who you had a great first date on and you want to see more, does she know about a little thing called Still Single?
I did not bring up the podcast.
Because I'll tell you this now. If she listens to this episode and she hears about a date with an Argentinian in a photo booth, it's going to go one of two ways.
Rob is going to title this podcast The Argentinian. Not the etiquette, not what it should be. Like
the Argentinian in the photo booth.
You know, we're gonna hang out a little bit and be like, "Hey, yeah, I do this podcast," and then she like looks through and sees the Argentinian, and it was like,
might be this one.
I'll start listening with this episode. But I'm saying all nice things. I had a great time.
I think you're being open. You're being vulnerable. I don't think you're throwing any shade her way. Like, she sounds lovely. It was a great first date, and I think that it's important. You know, it's helpful for our audience to hear our experiences and hear our POV on like first dates. And I don't think you're doing anything wrong, man.
I agree. I don't feel bad if she does happen to listen to this. I guess I'm just more curious as to like, what are other things that you look for in a successful first date, or even just certain things to like bookmark that. And so Alex says like that nice hug or that connection that you're willing to have. And, you know, Rob and I agree about just like having a nice little kiss. That's all.
I think like a little spice. I don't know how else to put this, like a little spark of like,
yes.
Okay. Cause I've been on dates and it's totally nice, but it almost feels like, cool. We've sat down and we've talked and it was really pleasant, but a little like spice of like, I don't know, not necessarily like, I don't really like the giving each other shit. I know there's like that big thing of like roast to flirt ratio. I think like, yeah, like it's funny to like joke around with each other, but just like a little spark of, okay, we're not friends. We're not at a job interview. There's like a little spark here.
Yeah, a little spice. A little spice goes a long way, and it has to be the right kind. It can't like, I think combo of like self-deprecating humor, you know, where you're making fun of yourself a little bit, but then you can also burn the woman you're on a date with. Like, that's okay.
With a candle?
Yeah, you burn her with a candle. Just
that's definitely a fetish for sure.
No, like you just burn like like nice burn, sick burn. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think also you can fall off the rails too of like, if you're being too self-deprecating, where it's just like,
sure,
geez, be nice to yourself. Like, have some positive self-talk.
That Office episode. It's like
I've really done it now.
There's
Wait, so just to round out, because we've spent like half the episode talking about our updates, which I love, and I always love hearing your updates. Can we end this segment with always just being like, are we still single or not?
Great. Yes.
What?
No, it's good, man. It's a good thing
down.
to do. I did. Right. These videos are on YouTube now. Oh yeah, our videos are on YouTube. Give them a like.
That is true. Yeah, check us out.
All right, I'll go first. Okay. Still single. Rob here. Deleted all the dating apps. Gonna do 9 days, no dates. See ya. Super lonely, so slide into my DMs and say what's up. Check me out on TikTok Live at Rob Michael Moore. All right.
Still no dates until October 1st.
Yep. Okay, Jay.
I am still single, but actively dating, and I realized I didn't say what my goal is. I'm going to have a presentation ready to go for my company Stay Amo on the 30th. I have a big presentation on October 11th, so I'll have the first draft or whatnot ready to go September 30th.
It's a great one, man. Sorry we didn't get to your goal. That's a great one.
It's a great goal.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do my update, or I'll just derail. So we get one more podcast before the 30th of recording.
Yeah, we get next week.
Okay. Awesome, guys. Let's keep it.
So we got a week basically to hit our goals.
Yeah. So keeping it moving.
Well, dude.
Okay.
It's okay. Whatever you are, you could be still-ish single. You could be dating someone.
This is where I'm at. Aka. I think I've caught feelings.
Yes.
But I'm hesitant. But I'm not hesitant. Intentional is a much better word. So let's scrap hesitant. Intentional. Just going slow, trying to focus on A-dubs too. I'm moving right to Austin, and like I just with my birthday and like the last couple of years, I've just been like, I went like did a nomadic thing, and then I've lived with housemates, and I'm just like, I want to just fully be adult Webs, like, and really crush life. But I'm open to obviously someone coming on the journey with me. But I'll say, so I'm exploring and I've caught feels, but I am really honoring myself as like the top priority.
It's great.
So good.
Yeah.
Feels
I
are
think it's
awesome, man.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Still feels. He's got feels.
We're very feely guys.
Oh my God, we're the feeliest.
It's the Pisces in me.
Are you kidding? We're so feely.
So Alex, one thing that you wanted to talk about, and I want us to hit on some subjects as well, besides just us and our feelings on this, is like core beliefs and how connecting with someone like that, whether you can be with someone who disagrees with stuff, or the things that you should kind of, when to bring it up, the way that I was talking in my first date of like, so sorry about this, but do you want to have kids? And, having that conversation on a first date, which is not usually a first date topic for me, but I felt good going that intentional route, going a little deeper and learning about this person. Cause you could be 7 dates in and they're like, yeah, I don't want kids. And you're like, well, I do. This sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, let's hop into it. It's one, we're also good on you for asking that, of like the kids thing. I mean, I don't think there's any rules, and at the very least, it's like, I think it's more fun to have those like deeper questions at times, right? Not all the time, like that's exhausting, but a fruit to kids balance. But no, I mean, I guess what first introduced it to me was there was a woman that I dated in 2020, and she lived in Austin, ironically, and we're now really good friends, but it's been a journey. We ultimately ended because a lot of reasons, but she was pretty vocal that she didn't want to have kids. And I really do. Mm-hmm. And that is really setting up one of us to really compromise a core value. Like either she's going to have to compromise it or I'm going to have to. So I guess, but also, I was thinking, so like there's things that are very dear to me. One is spirituality and a faith and something bigger. And that's newer for me, like really articulating that and being public about that. But I'm finding that because it's newer, I have a tendency almost to hide it. And I'm realizing that if I'm going to be with someone, I don't want to hide it. I really want to like feel welcomed and share it. I have like beliefs about things in the world and beliefs about like holistic health and things that are, especially when it comes to like kids, that are, I don't see myself like, those are so core to like my view on the world and who I am. So I guess what I'm saying is like, when is the appropriate time to bring it up and how important is it? And the last kind of nuance I'll say is, because I was talking to a good buddy about it, and his advice was, you don't need to be immediately eye to eye, as long as you're both open to going on that journey with each other. Meaning, like, I'll be honest, like what my housemate is so health and wellness focused that he's introduced me to so many things that are now like principle in my life, even in spirituality. But he introduced me to that. So I guess the point is like, do you have to be immediately aligned with the person you're dating?
Or can you just be like open to the
Or are there deal breakers, or could you be open to each other introducing you to things?
Yeah. I mean, I remember I dated somebody a couple years ago, and I was like infatuated. I was really, really into her, and then found out like her mom like hated Israel, and like I'm Israeli.
Right.
My dad is Israeli, and it was just like an immediate like, I can't do this. Like I'm sorry. This is just over.
Yeah.
And it hurt so bad. It just hurt so bad. But like that's a hard line in the sand for me, because it is like so much a part of my family and my culture. That said though, in hindsight, like, is there a way to work past those things? Like, can you have an open mind to it? Maybe.
Right. Like, could you have been patient and have conversations with the mother, like or figure out if there was thinking that the girl that you were dating like had those thoughts, and changing those thoughts on,
right.
Like having those deep
like,
conversations.
could it have been more of a conversation instead of this, like, because that's the Scorpio in me. I like, as soon as I get really freaked out, I lash out. And I do this with like relationships. I do it with work stuff. And it's like, I really want to grow past it because it's just not, it's not. And then I go through this whole flip flop of like, oh my God, did I do the right thing for a long time? And I almost like, I don't know, curse myself, feels like.
But that's kind of how dating is right now. Like this, like just this line in the sand, and that the second something like a barrier gets crossed and listen, you're 100% valid for finding out her mom hates Israel and you're Israeli and your dad is Israeli. I connect with that exponentially, being Israeli and my dad being Israeli. So like hearing that would just be like, yeah, I don't have the time for this. I'm not here to educate you that you should be a kind person to anyone. Like this is just flatly anti-Semitic. But like being able to and Alex, I mean, you can speak on this probably better than most people. If like your focus and a lot of the content that you create is just like, I'm here for the people. Can we just have a conversation? Can we be patient enough to have conversations with each other that go deeper beyond, and that if something comes out that we disagree on, can we still like bunker down, depending on how deep into the relationship you are. Sometimes it's easier to get out of it because you're like, oh, this is date 3 and they said something, and it's like, I don't have the time or patience to deal with someone who has these ideologies.
Well, dude, this is such a complex topic because I'll also say, and I think us three, like I'm fiery, I'm intense. I'm also not right all the time. And so like, I look at some of the stuff that I made over the last year and a half, and I give myself grace because I know my heart was in the right place. But I also know that some of the things I said or did were not completely aligned with my beliefs or views or who I am. And so like, I don't need another person necessarily who's like as fiery, as intense, as like pedal down as me. Maybe that actually wouldn't be good. I don't know. I think at its core, I want someone to love me. I want someone to love me no matter what and love my heart. Right. And, but I did mention, a while back, like, I don't want to be tolerated either. Like I want to be accepted. And if you do think that I'm a good-hearted and smart guy, then I want you to want to come along the journey with me rather than like, and I've seen couples and I've seen even some videos on the internet of like, oh, that's your mom's crazy idea. Or yeah, your dad thinks this. And it's like, well, hold on. Like, I don't know. I don't want that. Like, what message is that sending to a child? Like, oh, okay, on something super important, mom and dad think exactly opposite. I don't know. It's, I guess I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
Just also going to my own mother, like I've had an ex be like, your mom is kind of crazy. Like my mom has been a little possessive or has overstepped boundaries. And I remember an ex just being like, what the hell was that? And then looking back, my ex probably was like, I don't know if I want to like go down this rabbit hole with this person. And I also just wanted to note, like, getting on the same page with these core beliefs is so important, especially before you have children together.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you have a child, you are literally shaping that child with your co-partner, with your co-parents. And man, it's going to get heated no matter what, even if you're on the same page, no matter, because it's just high stress, right? But then if you like have these like core belief differences, it's going to get things spicy real fast. And then you've got an audience with the kids. So it just heightens everything. So man,
no, it's true, man.
Like I'm just sending out love to people who like have kids, might, be in a loving relationship, but like feel really stressed. It's just it's a reality.
For sure. And what came up just now for me is like, Rob, you talking about being fiery and Alex like agreeing with that. And we all have these personalities. And earlier today, I was talking with a friend about how she was telling a story, how she met this couple and that she was talking to their friends. And she's like, oh yeah, like Jen is the only one that could like tolerate or like is the right person for that guy to like balance him out. And I was like, yeah, I'm sure whatever partner I end up with, like people are going to say the same thing. And I feel like for all three of us, and maybe for just like everyone, because we all have our quirks, we all have our like crazy overbearing parents and whatnot. My mom's super intense too, so I totally get that. And you have to match your crazy. You have to understand, like, this idea that everyone thinks that they're a perfect 10 and that they need to find this person that's also a perfect 10 is what's making us delusional and what's making dating so much harder to navigate through.
Yeah.
I really have to go back to what you mentioned on a previous episode of, like, as soon as you meet someone who's better than your last ex, like, commit. And I remember I said, well, I guess Noelle is my best ex, but a listener DM'd me and was like, actually, Noelle is not your ex. She never was an ex.
Yeah,
Noelle's your
good.
wife.
Oof,
And
that's
Noelle
good.
is always going to be your wife and your late wife. And it then made me think about exes versus Noelle. And yeah, I do agree that, like, if I do find if and when I do find someone better than my best ex, like, yeah, I'm gonna double down, because there's, like, why not? Life is too short.
And it's also, I think, a little freeing. I'm like brainstorming here, but to hold, and you're human, this is natural, but to have Noelle be the measuring stick to every,
It's not fair.
it isn't. And also because, and I love Noelle so much, but she's not here to make mistakes anymore either. So,
Whoa.
like, you know what I mean? Like, her, it's an unattainable that anyone could ever, be in that realm.
Totally agree. And it's only recently have I been able to say, okay, Rob, put that bar aside, because that bar doesn't, it's unattainable and it doesn't need to be there. And it shouldn't be there. And that doesn't mean you're, like, letting go. It's a form of letting go. It does mean you're letting go, but it doesn't mean you're not honoring her memory and not honoring the relationship you had. So it's a good point.
Guys, this is great.
I needed this today for sure.
I did too. Do you guys have any questions queued up just to round out the episode?
It was a slow episode, question week. I feel like, unfortunately.
I have one.
Do it. Oh, great. Then obviously I wasn't
This is
trying
from
hard enough.
Latoya.
No, it was a slower question week, but I got one that I'll share as well after Rob.
Yeah, and guys, before we get into questions, like, first of all, thanks for listening. You can follow us on Instagram at We Are Still Single, and you can follow me at Rob Michael Moore, Jordan at Jordan Kahana, and Alex at I'm Alex Weber. And we just launched a YouTube this week, so Google search Still Single on YouTube and give us a subscribe. You can watch all the episodes now. And yeah, send in your questions. We love hearing them. Okay, so from Latoya, I really enjoy listening to your podcast. I appreciate your vulnerability. I'm on the binge listening wagon too, because there's so much that resonates with me. I've laughed and cried. Thank you for sharing. I have a question for Rob. Maybe this has been covered already. What is your process for introducing your daughter to someone you're dating? Jordan? I'm just kidding. Latoya, thanks for the question. So I have introduced 2 girlfriends to my daughter since my wife passed. Both went extremely well. One got very, very close to my daughter. And I would say what my rule is now, this is actually going to be pretty intense, but learning from my last relationship, where I'm taking care of 2 hearts, I'm taking care of my heart, and I'm also taking care of Leia's heart, is that I don't necessarily want to introduce a woman to Leia unless I really, really think that she could be in our lives. And like it could be someone that's like possibly I'm going to marry. And the reason is because Leia is at this age where she's going to get attached super quickly. She desires a mother so bad. She lost her mom when she was only 2.5. And it's like, I don't want to introduce somebody who's just like, hey, this is Becky and she's coming in and we're having a great time. And, like, we might break up, but like any of that. So I think I don't want to put like a timestamp on it, but I will say that learning from my last relationship too, I'm going to wait a substantial amount of time, just date the person, really know that I'm going to be committed to that person, and then introduce Leia.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know because so I have my 2 dogs, and I'm somewhat turned off when people ask, they're like, so what are the dogs' names? Like, what is going on? Can I meet let's hang out and let me meet the dogs. And I'm just like, so I'm here too. Like, do people ever through dating apps or through DMs or something that you might be intrigued on, or like, I can't wait to meet Leia, and you're like, I don't know you like that.
I first of all, yes, I've had, I've dated women that like will get Leia a gift after one date with me. And I'm always like, wow, it's so sweet. So I don't want to like yuck it. But for me, I don't know. It's so sweet. And if it's like the right person, I would be like, oh my God, I fucking love that. Do you know what I mean? So it's there's no hard line in the sand for that of just like, I think it's always nice to ask me about my daughter, ask me about Leia, obviously not obsess over her, not be like, I'm going to be her mommy, like, it's like we'll have that conversation later.
Yeah.
But just like, she is a part of me. There's no question.
I want to touch on before we go to Alex's question.
Yeah.
I think that's such an interesting line that we walk in dating as well. And this is brought up in conversations that I've had recently, where that if someone slides in your DMs, or like if someone comes up to you at a coffee shop or at a bar, and if you find them attractive, they can almost say anything and you're intrigued. But if you aren't attracted to them, this goes both sides. You're like, that's a little too far. Like, Rob, if you're infatuated with some girl after like a date or two and she gets Leia a gift, you're like, this is her mother. We're done. Like, I'm getting a ring next. Like, or like something along those lines where, so it's such
it's so true.
Again,
I mean,
it's a fine line.
think that's why I go back to my thing about these dating apps, guys. It's like, we're not using all of our senses when we're attracted to someone. We're finding them with their like top 5 pictures and these prompts, and we're just not using all of our senses in terms of hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, like just seeing them really, feeling their energy. So again, I don't want to hate on the dating apps. I just deleted 4 of them. Like, it is a great way to meet people.
But I'll also say, man, the last 3 people that I've dated over the last like years, all were from Hinge. They all were from a dating app. And I will say, to your point, when their photo came up, something like deeper in me was like, yeah. Like, it wasn't
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, whoa, she's pretty.
Agree to that.
Oh, she's attractive. Oh, she's hot,
awesome.
whatever. There was something that was like, yep. Like, yeah.
Yes. Like the meter in your head or whatever it is that you're like, this is different. This is gonna, yeah. That's how I was with that girl last summer too, where I was just like, nope, this is here. And then she broke up with me. Alex,
well, that is something we should unpack though at some time, because that was there's some stories and lessons there.
Sure. Yeah. And we've talked about a little bit. We have. But yes, we can unpack that.
I was also I was going to say to Rob to finish that loop of like, and I know we've joked about it before, talked about it before, but like, I think it hits home at different layers. Like, sometimes just like, Rob's a dad. And like, I think I just like, because we all got so much going on.
Also, we're way too deep. He's 6'3". This took way too long to bring up.
6'3". Did you have, when you had the apps, because you don't have them as of an hour? Did you have a photo of you and Leia on it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You're not like
I have one. I usually have one photo of Leia on my dating app profile, and I say like, I have kids.
Yeah.
Or I have a kid.
And that's the kid.
Yeah. Leia's my kid, so I usually put her in the photo. It'd be weird if I
that'd
had a
be
different
so
kid.
Awesome if like a child actor.
Yes. That'd be so good.
Just some kid that doesn't look anything like me.
Yeah.
And then they're like, did he adopt his kid? Or like, what's the story behind that?
Yeah.
That's a great, opener. Get a lot of people asking you questions that way.
Yeah.
All right. It was a comment I got, and I want to share it. For 2 reasons. One, I've worked with this man through the years in LA. Great dude. I always enjoy too when, like, in a good way, when boundaries kind of break down, not boundaries, but like worlds kind of, okay, we met in professional entertainment, but now he sent a really nice message about our Still Single podcast, which is like, it's cool that, okay. He said, this podcast is so needed right now for men need to express themselves more. It's refreshing. I'm 52 and single. Trust me on this. So I won't mention the name, but I will. John, you're the man, John. It's been such a pleasure to know you through the years. And I wanted to bring it up, one, because I've gotten messages from men, but I've gotten a lot more from women about this podcast. But I do think that men are listening and men need this. And I guess I also thought it was cool because this still single, there's so many different like angles on it. Like I think about my parents. My parents are still single. They got divorced, and I don't know. There's so many different I guess angles on still single.
I think everybody's curious about modern dating versus older traditional dating. My mom told me that she downloaded some dating apps and was looking at them with my dad, and just to see what they were like.
Swingers in Chicago, is it that one?
Yeah, Swingers in Chicago. And my mom texted me just being like, this is so bad for your brain. Like any therapist would say that this is like terrible for your brain. And I was just like, all right, that's very typical of my mom to get super hardcore one way. But I think there is a curiosity around just modern dating and this like post social media climate of just look at me, and everybody's fucking hot on Instagram. And like, there's always this option of better out there. And, us being honest and vulnerable about where we're at and how hard it is. And, I think it's resonating. Yeesh.
Yeah. To go off of Alex's point, like we all have our paths that got us here, whether it's Alex, your parents of having, being married and then being divorced and having these kids and living their separate lives, or Rob's story, or, all that kind of stuff. We're all navigating this and having it. And we're just trying to, so much through therapy and through talking and being vulnerable with friends. It's always so rewarding to know that there's other people in my similar situation. Granted, it might not be the same path that we got here, but there's common connection.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
What a great episode, guys.
So good.
What a great episode. So still single audience, we love you. We appreciate you guys listening. We also really appreciate 5-star ratings on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps us get new listeners and get new followers to our platform. And yeah, go over to YouTube, watch one of our episodes, put it on in the background. You can see our smiling faces. You can see Alex and Jordan try and, get close to their microphone, really close. I just want to figure out this audio, this tech so bad.
Yeah.
It's getting better. Week after week, it gets better. That's all we can do.
And I think a little tease too, we've been talking about this, is November 4th. Is that what we're teasing? And I think we should post something on Instagram as well and be like, this needs to get X amount of likes for us to even start to move forward with it. So November 4th, it's 3 days before my birthday. Jordan's coming to LA. I live in LA. Alex has a tapestry and a frequent flyer mile account. We want to do a live recording of our podcast episode in LA. Alex is like, did I just get sniped? Like,
I just looked at you and I just saw the tapestry. It's just perfectly framed.
I can't wait to lose this tapestry, my guy.
It is a great weekend because I was invited for that volleyball tournament, so I am hyped to be able to go do that.
I think also when
it's
you guys
your
are
birthday,
here,
and it's us going out, and it's all the things.
We should do a photo shoot and do a still single calendar for 2023.
I love how these
I pitched that.
ideas.
Did you pitch the calendar?
Yes.
I thought you pitched an OnlyFans.
I did both.
An OnlyFans calendar.
An OnlyFans calendar.
Okay,
If you guys like that idea, just slide into our DMs and tell us.
It would be tasteful.
Correct. Wholesome.
It's a wholesome.
I'm gonna throw this out there, and I've not gotten approval from Rob and Jordan, but I'm just gonna send it because we're in this energy. If you're listening and you're like, I love these guys, and you know what? I've got like 8 hours a week. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad guesstimate. We need someone to help us out with social media and just some hands on deck. So Jordan's giving me just the angriest look as he hasn't figured out his microphone.
I don't care.
We need help.
Okay.
Jordan's so mad about it, but just don't DM Jordan about it. DM me or Rob about it.
Alex, okay, let me just tell you exactly what's going on here. Alex is overwhelmed, so he wants an assistant to help him with his overwhelm. That is it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're not
It's-
savvy with social media. I think
'cause
we're
also-
actually
'cause
really
also-
savvy with social
Yeah, because
media.
Alex is also like, we should
Fine.
split up
Message me.
TikTok and do this, and we should split it up and do it weekly. And we're like, great, Alex, you
So
take
if
week
you
one.
want to
and-
work with Alex on like an assistant level, you should DM Alex and see
Okay.
if you can work with him. Is that
Okay, message
better?
me. Message
Yeah.
me.
I think
And
that's
you-
the reality.
And I won't tell these guys about anything.
Perfect.
Perfect. We don't want
And
to.
I'll work on my microphone. I'm just gonna return it from Amazon right now and get the $250 one.
All right.
build out a
Well,
whole
this
studio.
episode ended with a bang.
See you
we
guys
love
November
guys.
4th.
Yeah. Never talking to you guys again. Still single. We love you.
Still single.
And really mean that. So we'll talk next week. Peace.
Love you all.
Love you guys.
Still recording.
I just got a text message of a friend listening to the podcast saying the screenshot of the girl being like, I'd also never been on a real first date until after I broke up with my awful ex in 2014 and went on a few for what it's worth.
And that's the button.